How's it going, pirates? So we're going to be working on this new custom figure that I'm looking to make. So this is the Black Series Jabba the Hutt. I've taken it apart and it actually was rather tough. Even after heating it, it was rather tough to get this portion out of his lower portion there. Underneath looks really cool. So it kind of helps fulfill the idea that I want to go with, which is make him a cyborg. So I'm probably going to do without that lower half and just hang on to this, add a bottom to him so that I can attach these avatar crab legs to him. So that's going to look pretty cool. I also want to take the upper arms out, which are actually proving to be rather difficult. So I'm going to have to open them up and add these robotic arms. So this was from a Marvel Legends Build-A-Figure that I will actually be repainting this and repurposing it onto this Jabba custom that I'm working on. So here's his lower arms, which I'll probably use it now in a fodder. I don't know if I'll use it in a, I think I'll probably try to use it with a 1/18 scale figure if I can. That'd be rather interesting, these big massive arms. Okay, so we're going to start with a few things. First of all, let's clear out some of these objects. And the first part we're going to work on is this body. So the main thing I want to do is get rid of these arms. Now they've been proving to be rather difficult to get out. So I'm trying to figure out how to do this. What I may do is boil some water and dip this in there, see if that'll soften the plastic enough so that I can just yank these out. Because there's like this mechanical feature within there, I don't know if it's going to be that simple. Now the other thing that I wanted to do, because I wanted to incorporate a few other things and make him a lot more mobile. So instead of just having this body by itself without using the lower body that he initially comes with, I want to add this vehicle as his body, his new body. So I'm going to obviously incorporate all of that into the lore as to how he got cut in half. His own daughter tried to kill him and left him for dead. So that's going to all be part of the story. So his daughter is Dira the Hutt. She's actually the Hutt that runs the underground on my station, which is Edge Point Station. And so this is her father. So she took over his empire after killing him, or at least thinking she killed him and left him for dead. So he was going to survive. He's going to be a cyborg. So that's why I'm thinking of incorporating this as his body, this ship, because I took the engines off and I used it in another build. You can check out my weekly whips earlier on. So this is kind of what I'm going for here. Let me just zoom out a bit. So yeah, I'm looking at incorporating this upper body onto this. So this will be his life-saving devices. So this is going to be similar to that. It's going to attach there. The other thing that I wanted to do is use this so that I can attach the legs to it. So right where this section is, I would drill a couple of holes, widen these up so I could fit those crab legs onto this. And then on the base of the legs, so on the base of these, what I was thinking of doing was adding some of these wheels. These come from the first Avatar movie, which is called the RDA Combat Grinder Vehicle. So it's an ATV that was used in the story. You never saw these vehicles in the movie. This was part of like a Jeep. So I broke them apart, used them as fodder, because I got them for really cheap. And so what I wanted to do is incorporate this feature onto them. So what I wanted to do was make this the base of the legs. So essentially I wanted them to be able to turn flat. So when he's not being mobile, like really fast moving with the wheels, he could walk. So this would be like the foot and this would be attached to it. Something like that. But then I also wanted it so that once it's inwards, it could turn up so that it could sit. You could sit on the inside of the leg, kind of like that. So it would turn down and then it would turn flat so that it could be its foot. Or it can turn even more and then become its wheels. So that he becomes a lot faster and a lot more mobile. You guys can let me know what you think about that in the comments down below. But for now, what we're going to do is try to get those arms off. And hopefully will be able to pop on the other arms as easily. And then the other thing I'm looking at doing, the reason why I want to open them up is because I'm thinking about putting a robotic eye in there, so a light up LED inside there. So replace or maybe paint that silver and then put a hole right in the middle of it. It's that way I can glue an eye on the an LED on the other side and give him that robotic eye. Okay, so with a lot of heat and a lot of elbow grease, I was able to finally get his upper arms out of his body. Now, so what I want to do now is add these robotic arms. I want to add these to his body. Only problem is the peg holes are for in his body are too big. So when you try to put these in here, you don't get a good fit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the upper body from this figure and I'm going to pull out the inner peg portions because that can be done. And I will use those inside the Jabba's armpit cavities in here. So I'll glue them inside there and then I'll plug in the arms into that and that should do the trick. So now with the upper body of this took a lot of heat and a lot of elbow grease again, and I was able to pull those apart. And as you can see, it's just made up of a lot of different little parts. So these parts are what I want to put glue into Jabba the Hutt. So what I want to do is put those inside here. So then that way it should be able to fit the other arms into these arm peg holes. And then that should solve the problem. And then now this becomes fodder because I can use all these parts for different things because they look robotic and they look really cool, very cyberpunkish. So I could use those in other builds. And here's his lower half. I could probably use this in something as well. So at least now I have some extra body parts because I didn't have the full figure anyways. So I figured why not take it apart and use it elsewhere. So now these are going to go into, this is the part of the lower body over there. So now these are going to plug in to here. So what I'll do is I'm going to glue those in, but maybe before I do that, I'll probably give him a base coat. And I also want to paint this eye silver.
A few moments later.
Okay, so what we're going to do is going to put some glue right up in here. So the other thing I wanted to do is, as I mentioned, I wanted to use this as part of his lower body. But yeah, I just got to shave this down a little bit so that it can fit right into this section here. Still contemplating whether I'm going to put lights on this. I think I should because it look really cool. And so yeah, and then that way I can run the wiring through here into this lower section here because the battery will be able to fit back there. And then I can just add a bunch of greeblies onto this and it should look pretty friggin' awesome. You guys can let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. But okay, so as you can see, we got a lot done. So I gave him a base coat of this craft paint. Not bad for $1. And I actually added some chrome to his eye. So back in the day before Disney was making the MCU, they made a movie called Condor Man. In it, there was a villain who had a chrome eye. And that's where I got the idea to paint Jabba's eye chrome. And so I wanted to go with that with this character. And yeah, he looks pretty cool so far. I do have to add some greeblies as well. So I want to add some more like cybernetics and things like that. Like I want to paint this silver or gunmetal and attach that to his body somewhere. So I want to add like some other mechanical and cybernetics to this character just to give him a little bit more of that cyborg feel. His arms as well as his robotic legs and the base that he's going to be sitting in, those are all outside drying. I just gave them a flat black paint coat, and so far the first 2 coats are on there. Looks pretty good. Gonna be doing dry brushing of some gunmetal on it just to give you more of that metallic feel to it. I want to also add some weaponries to it, like maybe a couple of cannons to that, and hopefully some lighting as well. So stay tuned for all of that. So what I want to do now is this base bottom part, it doesn't quite fit into the lower body, so I'm gonna have to shave it down a little bit.
A few moments later.
So as you can see, most of the parts have been painted and they're now mainly dry. There's still maybe another hour or so till they're fully cured. And then here's the base part. I already started drilling holes towards the front. This is so I can start cleaning this out so I can start fitting in these mech legs. Now, as for his arms, those have also been painted and are fairly dry as well. I was hoping the paint would really hold them, the arms together. This side's still a little loose, but it's not too bad now. But yeah, he's coming along nicely. What I'm gonna probably have to do is with this arm right now, I have blue tack inside here to hold this arm in place, as the little peg hole that came with the other figure, for whatever reason, doesn't want to fit in there. It keeps breaking off, as opposed to this side where it seems to be really secure, and it even kept the ratchety part of the arm. So that's awesome. So this side's good. I just have to figure out what to do with this side. What I might do is put some hot glue inside here, and then put some Vaseline on the peg, so that when I put it in there, I can actually turn it around while the hot glue is cooling, and hopefully that'll make a peg hole that will fit this peg tightly and keep it safe. So that's where we're at with this, and he does fit into the base. So I trimmed off just the right amount, and he could turn ever so slightly. I don't really want to trim off any more than that, as I don't want him to be too loose in this. So far he seems to be fitting. So back here I'll be putting a battery and running some wiring through here to hopefully put some lights on the front of this, as well as put an LED for its eye, so that way I can run wiring from within this lower portion up through his body, because this is actually very soft rubbery plastic, so I could just slide that the wiring in between, and then drill a small hole and put the LED inside there. So he's gonna look really cool. I do have to do some dry brushing on this, and as I mentioned before, I'll be adding some other greeblies on there just to make him look a little bit more cybernetic. So that's gonna be really cool. So stay tuned for that. Still have to do another coat of his skin, so that way it covers over the green that's still bleeding through. Well, more to come. So stay tuned, pirates. So yep, here we go. He's getting closer. The legs still need to be adhered to the body better. I just started making the hole, still trying to fit this leg in. The hole's still not quite the right size.
That's what she said.
But it's getting there. The back holes, there's supposed to be some fill-ins that I've taken out when I was painting it. Those will go back in, and the legs should fit in there no problem. So overall, he's coming along nicely, and he's going to actually be really cool once he's closer to done. At least this gives you an idea of what he's going to look like. Just got to add more cybernetics. So that brings us to the end of part 1. In part 2, we'll continue this build by showing you some of the paintwork that I'll be applying to both his arms, legs, and lower body, as well as the fact that we'll be adding the electronics to his eye, as well as the lower body of the vehicle, and I might even consider adding some other greeblies just to add more of that cybernetic feel to this character, and maybe even some weaponry to the lower body, as well as the fact that we want to test out to see if the wheels will work and not look too clunky. So anyways, pirates, until the next video, take care.